What is going on, RotoGrinders? Welcome to the castle. That's Card Stock After Lock. My name is Will Priester, aka Chief Justice '06. I'm going to be hosting this show today, along with our good friend of the show, Michael Jerome, aka Michael J. Cards, and a staple of Card Stock After Lock, ladies and gentlemen, toe tag and tambo, Tyler Tamboline. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We got a good one today because as we speak, we've got us an NBA Top Shots drop happening right now. We're 10 minutes and 11 seconds out from figuring out whether we're going to be really high up, whether we're first in line at the back of the line, or whether we're in like 5 millionth place. So this is a show that's going to be super fun. Michael, thanks for coming on, man. How's everything on your side of the world?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be back on. Second time now. We had a really good show the first time, so I'm excited to keep it rolling here.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're not following Michael J. Cards on Twitter, you're missing out, man. He's always posting, some profitability residue. He'll put it up and say, "Hey, man, I told you guys to get on this 4 weeks ago." And lo and behold, we got us another 75%, 150%, 3,000% profit. That's Michael J. Cards, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler, what's going on, fam? How's it going?
I'm good, man. And we missed you. We're happy to have you back here. It's going to be a good show. Got Michael J back. And yeah, if you're not following him, he let me in on a little secret Discord. I'm not sure if that's legit for everybody or not, but yeah, I got some Bo Jackson, some Zion, some Mega Prism boxes. He posts some good stuff in there. So looking forward to that profitability. And I think it's going to be in the near future, but just chilling, man, doing my thing. Like you said, collectibles blowing up everywhere. Top Shot still rolling out. You mentioned us being in the queue as we speak, and then being in those streets, man, those DFS streets. So trying to grind out every bit of dollars and cents that we can out here.
So first of all, it's just very ironic that we have a show in the middle of this Top Shots drop, because I don't even know if we're going to be able to finish this show if any of us get in line where we need to be. I think it's about 25,000 packs on this one that they're going to release to the public. So me, Michael J, Tambo, and our illustrious producer Devo Knievo, we're all probably in the queue, and we've all probably got about less than a 3% chance to get a pack. That might not be an exaggeration by the time this thing all shakes out. My little pack is jiggling on my screen right now, and hopefully it's bringing us glad tidings. At any rate, we're going to hop right in, man, because this show is all about the collectibles. The industry is on fire, first of all. So Panini's, they keep releasing massive product, right? Certified, hoops, you name it. Prism's coming out. National Treasures is going to be coming out. All of these beautiful products, right? And just the collectible space as a whole, we know PSA has raised their pricing. How is that going to affect the market? And then also, secretly enough, we've got the NBA playoffs coming up, which is a really good time to invest in some guys that we think are going to be big time. And I'm going to be writing an article about that. That'll be released on tomorrow in terms of some guys that I'm going to be targeting for the NBA playoffs. Let's get down to business. Last thing I'm going to say before we hop into the meat and potatoes of the show. In the cardboard space, if you don't have a subscription at sportscardinvestor.com with our market movers tool, what exactly are we in the industry for? And I don't mean that as an insult to anyone. Sports Card Investor is pretty much the premier, I repeat, the premier investment you can make in terms of the cardboard space. You're going to get real, live, up-to-date card prices, where it last sold, where it was in October, where it was in November, and it can just really give you a good handle on, should I invest in this player? Should I not? Is he trending up? Even though he's gone up a couple $100, do I still need to invest in this card right now? Those are the type of things you get. You get to chart any card. You can look at almost any player from almost any year and kind of see where their card is trending. It's just a fantastic product. That's their market movers tool. If you would like to join in on all the fun at Sports Card Investor, use promo code GRINDERS. That's GRINDERS. That'll get you 20% off your first payment. That's monthly or for the year. So I'm going to kick this thing off. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about where we are in the collectible space, because everybody keeps talking about a bubble is coming. And we know we've got some guys that have been saying, look, it's not NFT versus cardboard. It's both. It's an and. Let's talk about where we think the collectible space is heading just in general. Michael J., over to you.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely in a fun time here where we have, NFTs, we got cards, we have Top Shot, all kinds of things. Really people are making a lot of money. And I think definitely short term, it's hard to speak on the long term, but short term here, there is great opportunity in this collectible space, especially with sports cards related, to make some good money. So now is the time. If you're, on the edge watching, now's the time to get in, I believe.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And look, we've talked about a lot of things on this show. We've talked about buying taking a cyclical approach to investing in sports cards, buying football right now while NBA is going on, buying MLB at the end, at the start of NBA, when certain brands or sports are being forgotten about, we want to invest in them. And I think you said something that was really important, just in terms of, you don't know if it's going to be long term, but if you're sitting on the sidelines, you're definitely doing it wrong right now. Like you've got, if you love collectibles, I mean, I even saw something the other day where a Transformers truck from the 80s sold for like $4,000 on eBay. It's a collectible, right? And look, we're talking about cards and maybe digital cards, but I just want to share that with the audience. The collectible space is on fire right now, and I think it's a good time to get in. I'm with you. If you're still sitting on the sidelines with Top Shots, you might not even be able to get an account. Like that's how impactful the collectibles market is. Can you imagine if you would have started in January, like some of us, and I came in late. I came in late in January, but my point is, if you would have gotten in around that time, you still have so much massive profit potential. And not only that, just collecting great moments. I don't even want to sell all my moments. We'll get to some of that in a minute. But Tambo, I mean, I think Michael J. hit something special there. If you're sitting on the sidelines, you're probably doing the collectible space wrong. What's going on, my man? What say ye?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's the absolute truth. If you think what's going on right now, I just think you still got to be, careful, and not necessarily careful is probably the wrong word, but just make sure you're doing what you want to be doing. And we talk about this all the time. Have a plan, have an investment strategy, whatever that might be. So, I'll give an example. You mentioned hoops earlier with Prism coming out. I saw the first hoops LaMelo Ball PSA 10 drop for like $2,200 or something ridiculous out there. I think it was over 2K, I believe. And to me, it's just hilarious because like I have a buddy that's opened up, 7 or 8 cello packs, not like 3 or 4 of those. Like, is he going to really be able to send those all to PSA with the price tag right now, flip them back and get it? So good for the seller on the first time out, but I would be careful about that. That's where you got to be, are you on the sidelines or in the game? You could get in the game, but that's probably with the wrong item. Who knows about the long term of it? But with Prism around the corner, I would have saved my money and bought, who knows what they're going to come out at when we can first get our hands on one. But I want to try to get some Prism Raw LaMelos before I be buying that PSA 10 hoops as an example. So just talking about with what product is dropping. As far as, like you said, even Top Shot limiting signups and things like that, if that's the one you want to be in, maybe Gary V said it best, and I'm not name dropping. We all know who Gary V is. I'm just saying he mentioned that there's a lot of these NFTs out there right now, and anybody can sell one or put a name to it or try and put one out there, and that's great. But what's the real value of them all going to be? With Top Shot, obviously, there's a different story. We've got the community factor behind it, the worldwide fan base, the NBA behind it, and licensing and backing it. There's a lot of factors that go in with it. So even if there is some price dips right now, and we'll talk about some of that more, I'm sure, as we go on, there still is opportunity. So, getting in the pack drop costs you nothing. We're sitting in it right now, like you said, about to get our spot in 2 minutes and see if we can get in a pack drop for $9. Where there's 25,000 packs. And let's say there's 100,000 people in it. It's still a 1 in 4 chance to get your hands on a pack. So yeah, sitting on the sidelines is tough right now. It's a tough scene. And then there's ones that you can't get into, Will. Some of these things that, these crypto punks have a floor of X amount, 6 figures or something. Like, I can't get one of those. Unfortunately, I missed that one. But, I'm still in on Top Shot and feeling pretty good about being in early. So to each their own, but have a strategy just like everything else we talk about.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I definitely think there's value in, when you say strategy, almost building a portfolio, right? Like saying, hey, and I mean this wholeheartedly, like, I think this is the way to do it if you're really into collectibles, because I think, listen, man, here's the reality. We can all get excited and go spend $5,000 on cards, like, easily. We love it, right? This is something we're passionate about. If you don't feel the passion oozing through the screen, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Like we're passionate about what we're involved in. But here's the deal. When we're building a portfolio, you got to decide, do I want 50% Top Shots, maybe 20% cardboard? and 30% something else, right? Like, how do you want to approach that? I think is the way you want to do it. And you mentioned something about LaMelo, because you talked about this LaMelo PSA 10 being 2K. Was it a base, or was it more like the Prism type version, or like the hologram version?
I believe, and maybe Mike, you know better than me, I'm pretty sure it was just a base hoops. I'm pulling it up here now on my side just to see what we talk about. It was a base hoops. It was like the first one, but obviously there's value to the first one that came back from PSA or whatever. And I get that, but that again, that's kind of why we like things like Top Shot, is because at least it will be etched into the blockchain that this was the first and only. When whoever bought that card, great for them. They probably did have the very first ever PSA 10 LaMelo Ball hoops rookie card, et cetera, but who cares? Nobody else is going to know that ever. It's very hard to prove that. It's a cool factor for you right there in the now, but what's the real benefit long term? Probably nothing, and not likely anyway. You can prove by the serial number on PSA and go back on something like 130 point or pull it up that way to say technically it was, but it's really tough. And I'm just trying to find it here now, Will. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot for that card, and I feel like there's a lot more better places that you could have put that money.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And I brought that up because what I wanted to demonstrate, because you got to remember now, first of all, excuse me, I think I hit my mic by accident trying to grab these nice little cards here. First of all, I'm going to be collecting LaMelo Ball from a PC factor, because Charlotte's my favorite team. And clearly he's probably the biggest star we've had since Larry Johnson, Lonzo Mourning, that era. I mean, I know Chris Paul was a Hornet, but he was in New Orleans. Like, that didn't count. We lost Kobe Bryant in the draft. I don't want to sound like a sad fan here, okay? But my point is this. I'm pretty much stocking up on these base LaMelo cards, right? I mean, I'm pretty much just buying. I've never bought a pack of hoops in my life. I'm just stocking up on his base cards, and I'll just get them graded whenever I decide, right? There's some. He's one I'm definitely going to chase the national treasures on. And I'm not necessarily saying the logo man, because I know his logo man, he's going to probably be one of the premier guys out of this class. Him, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. I got to assume those three are kind of going to be the creme de la creme that you want. Maybe James Wiseman if he starts getting more minutes. But my point is this. I'm going to be chasing these LaMelos in the collectible space from a cardboard perspective. Is there anybody you guys are chasing personally that you're saying, this is somebody I want to buy and hold and maybe write it out and not necessarily take the profit right this minute? Tambo, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I can't find this LaMelo as we speak. I want to answer the question so bad, but I also want to say, woo, guess who got a pack right now, boys? Got in the pack drop. Did you guys get one?
Man, oh, God, I was trying – hop in, Michael J. I was trying to hold this to see if we got in. Oh my gosh.
I got in. I can answer the question. I just want to tell you I got a pack. So we're holding out while we wait for this. But to answer your question, I think that's another thing, Will, that goes to part of the strategy. I mean, you and I have talked in the past. Michael J has been on with us here before talking about it, but I'm a blue chips type of guy. I'm not really, I like holding something like that more than I do a certain particular rookie, but LaMelo is a little bit different for me. You mentioned it. I think the talent level is just too much. I have his rookie, base 3 badge, what it's going to be moment in Top Shot. I'm okay holding that. I'm going to, look after trying to get this Rising Stars one because it's only out of 2,000. I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, I'd love to get into the Master Challenge, but in cardboard, it's no different. But like I said, I'm going to wait for Prism. So it's twofold. One, I'm going to wait for the card I actually want if I'm going to hold it, which I am when I get that. I'm going to try and get a PSA 10 out of it, maybe send 3 in or something like that. We can talk another day about these price increases and whatnot, and what's really worth it. But I'm certainly going to try and get my PSA 10 and hold. And the reason I bring that up too and said it's twofold is because back to kind of ties in with the strategy factor I just mentioned. Maybe Michael J can talk to this in a second. But on a guy like LaMelo, I want 2. I want one that I want one to hang on to because I want it forever. I want to hang on to the thing, but I also want to be able to make something off it. I think that's another spot. Michael, we'll flip it over to you in a second, but I think that's where people make, I won't say it's a mistake because to each their own, it's your own bankroll, it's your own pocketbook, whatever you want to call it. But I do think there's a factor involved, especially for me, where it comes down to like, if this Bo Jackson card is a good deal, why am I buying just one? I know I'm flipping it. And yes, if it's that good of a deal and I'm putting conviction behind buying one, why am I not taking, if this is the real deal opportunity right now, why not buy 3 of them and then flip 2 and hang on to one or flip all 3, whatever it might be. I'm just saying, if you're really looking into it from an investment standpoint to make money off of it, then take these opportunities that you get and buy into them. if you believe in it and have conviction behind it, you talk about the passion oozing through. Well, if you got the conviction behind this being a buy, then, and it means you're going to sell, then buy multiples. If it's something like your Lonzo, who we just talked about with Lonzo, LaMelo Ball, then you might want to take your stance a little bit differently, or at least think about it like I am. I want two. I want one that I can sell in the future if I think he's going to blow up, or there's a good time in the chart where I think it's a good time to move it. But I want one that I'm just going to stash, put a seal on, and just keep for a long, long time.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm with you 100%, Tambo. Michael J, the maestro, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, so I think Tambo made some great points. You know, he talked about how when you're investing, you know, one card, one or two of the card isn't, you know, if it goes up a lot, you're not going to really make that much. You know, I'm a big believer. I tell a lot of people who ask for my advice, you know, if we talked about LaMelo Ball, you're really high on LaMelo Ball, go, you know, buy it. You don't got to go all in, but a considerable amount of your portfolio on LaMelo Ball, because if that blows up, you can really, really, you know, make some good money. And so to switch it over a little bit, we talked about Melo. I'm a huge Anthony Edwards guy. I think, you know, they're pretty low key over in Minnesota. He's having a really good year, but he's not that known. He had, you know, 34 the other night. He's really looking good. That's someone that I'm going to be, you know, when Prism comes out, looking to get my hands on quite a few Anthony Edwards Prisms, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure, man. I totally get that. And here's one of the things I'm going to bring up just in terms of drafting in general, right? When we look at these draft picks, here's what I know, right? Here's what I know about guys that turn into actual superstars. Superstars don't generally stay with their team. Dame Lillard is like 1 in a million right now, right? Kobe Bryant, long, you know, God bless Kobe, but I'm saying that the type of player that's going to stay on a team for that type of longevity is long gone. Look at the new superstar, right? The LeBron James. LeBron gets drafted by Cleveland, goes to Miami and wins the championship, then goes to Cleveland and wins the championship, then goes to LA and wins the championship, right? You look at Dwayne Wade, who stayed, right? And he was kind of in that same niche, but you look at Kevin Durant. He went to OKC, couldn't get it done, went to Golden State and won a championship, and now he's going to the Nets and will probably be on a path to win a championship, right? The point I'm trying to make is this. We may look, and I'm doing this to support your Anthony Edwards strategy. We may look at Anthony Edwards right now and say, man, he's out in Minnesota. God, he's going to put up these numbers, but he's not going to win. If he puts up the numbers that you think, when it's time for his contract to come up for renewal, when he's restricted or unrestricted, the offers will be there. Can you imagine him going to a market that's already good, like LA, like, you know, a market like, let's say he went to Brooklyn and KD's still there at some point, and Kyrie, like, imagine something like that happening. And I bring that up because I think in the cardboard space, you can be a little bit more speculative on rookies when people are a little bit more down on them, right? Nobody knew James Harden was going to be the James Harden he was when he was in OKC. I mean, we saw him as a sixth man, and then he goes to Houston and he's the man, right? You know, we didn't know Russell Westbrook was going to start dropping triple doubles every season. So I think, you know, we can speculate a little bit on the rookies, you know, and that's in any sport, right? Because you can get them pretty cheap up front, especially if it's guys that you're a little bit higher on. I was a little bit high on Luka Samanic, so I've got a lot of Luka Samanic. And good guy, when I heard that LaMarcus Aldridge was headed out the door, I said, my God, my Luka Samanic cards might start getting a little value here. But anyway, I'm going to hop away from that. I do want to tell you guys my place in line. And it's kind of the worst feeling in the world, because it's like the little carrot that dangles in front of you, right? It's tantalizing, and they just keep raising the carrot, and you keep reaching your hand up, and they keep pulling the carrot further up. I was like 26,000 and some change. And while that feels so close, God, it feels so far away. So I'm just going to stay in there. The last time I was close, I hopped down. The Tampa was like, what are you doing? You got to stay in. But that was a couple thousand. Like now.
I think you would have got in that one. I think they said there was 3,300 over that it went that time. And you blew it. You were like 2,800 away or something, and you just jumped right out right away. Well, yeah, I'm telling you, you got to stay in on these things when you're that close. It's just when you're 76,000 or something right now, then yeah, bail. It's over. You ain't getting in. But yeah, you were close. You would have got it that week, I think.
Yeah, and this time I'm like 1,000 away, so I got to stay in there. And then Top Shots is not only are they doing that, they're tantalizing me with these messages. They're saying, would you rather miss by 38 or 38K? Come on, man. Don't do that to me when I'm like at the 26,000 mark when we come through the gate. At any rate, that's taking us into to the space. I want to kind of talk about maybe some things that you're doing on Top Shot, right? Because we talked about cardboard. What are some things that you're doing on Top Shot? I'm going to kind of give you my current strategy on Top Shot. And I'm not a heavy hitter, like the whale vault. That's not me, obviously. Yeah. But I've got my own strategy. What I've been doing right now currently is I'm buying a lot of the Series 2 common rookie cards that are like at the 35,000 plus mint, right? That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm buying Halliburton and buying Wiseman, buying Cole Anthony. I mean, I was getting those cards or moments, for what I consider to be really cheap. And I'll tell you why, right? And then I'll kick it over to you guys in terms of, if you're investing in moments. Right now, when we look at how they've got things minted, we've got like limited edition where some are 50, some are $4.99, some are 2,000, some are 10,000, some are 15,000, and now they've climbed up to 35,000. What happens if eventually they start minting moments that are like 50K plus? Well, now my 35K mint is worth a lot more than I thought it was when I bought it. My 15K mints are worth even more than that. And now you see what I'm saying? So if they start increasing the mint sizes, when we thought that 15K was a lot, it may in fact not be as much as we think, which is going to raise the price on those. So that's why I'm starting to buy a lot of these common rookie moments that are $20, $50, $40, because once they get these rookie badges, it's still going to carry the value. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's what I'm doing on Top Shots in the NFT space. Michael J., what are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, so I would consider myself a pretty early Top Shot investor. I put most of my money in probably early to mid-December.
Oh, so, man. Don't come on and shame us, man.
So I've pretty much had my, baseline portfolio that I've let ride through most of it. And then through there, like what I've been, buying since then is I'm very, very focused on only buying stars, like the top of the top. I'm staying away from the mid-level, like Mike Connolly, first-time all-star type, because I kind of feel when this, 6 months from now, are people going to pay, $1,000 for Mike Connolly moment? I'm not sure. So I'm going to stick to the, the superstars. And I really like what you talked about, the 3,500, those high mint moments. I found a lot of success, after a pack drop, like a big drop like today, picking up the stars of the 35,000 moments that I've dropped because they're getting undercut in the market. So after a pack drop, like what we just experienced, is a great time to go pick up some discount buys.
Boom. Tambo, same. Over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I like the play you got there. Like you said, I think the 15K one was a prime example, right? It was a CC that went to LE. It went crazy that night. That was during sort of the big bull run, but it was at the same time people started to realize, and this is where we can take some of our cardboard information knowledge, if you will, and bring it across. Like how many Luka Prism PSA 10s are there? What is it, like 17,000, soon to be 22,000 when we get the PSA backlog cleared up, and it still goes for a solid number. It's going to continue to have its hover moments, but it's goes up during the playoffs and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity when you think about 15,000, that's really nothing. And especially NBA is and we're talking worldwide now. We're used to comparing, eBay, North America, Australia, not the whole world, of being able to buy in on the blockchain like what we're talking about here. So I went a step further. I got in around similar time. So really we're both here to shame you, Will. I got her in around the same time as Michael J, but I made some good money out of the gate, some good buys. I really just applied a lot of my cardboard knowledge, again, where I made mistakes in cardboard buying too many randoms and trying to pick up these short-term investments when we all wanted to get to LeBron's anyway. And I couldn't quite get to LeBron's. There's still, I'd have to consolidate a lot, but I've got, talk about, smaller and scarcity. I've got a Zion series. I moved everything to Series 1 for the most part, and to really scarce moments that I like. So the Zion block, I got the out of 1,000. It's not the, or out of 1340 or whatever it is, but it's not the out of 299 or 499 or any of the best ones, but it's a good one, I think. And the block is his biggest moment, right? If you look at his cosmic and all that stuff, it all lines up with it. I've got an out of less than 1,500 people can get that one. I like that. I got the Jason Tatum MGLE Series 1 handles. I'm a big fan of Tatum. You guys know this. Talk about my son's name is Tatum. It's not related, but it does tie together. Love Kobe for life. And so, I know Tatum's a Kobe guy. He says all the time that Kobe's the reason he got into basketball. I love his game. Again, trying to tie a few different things together. The long term of it, it's at a 299. It's his handles moment where he puts Paul George down on the ground, hits the 3 to tie it up and go to OT. It's a pretty sick moment. And at the same time, they're going to be in the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to have opportunities for the Celtics. The market is big in Boston. Again, just applying all those factors. And then the other one I just picked up, because it's kind of like our mail day talking about these things, was the Donovan Mitchell MGLE Series 1 out of 299 as well. And it's the block. He blocks LeBron, which is pretty sick, and then takes it down the other end. They line him up for a pass and he dunks it. So it's a little bit longer moment, but I think it's good. And we know Utah's having themselves a season. Spida himself is pretty damn good. And now you got a guy like him where maybe he's the one I'll sell off when the price is right, but I got in cheap with all those profits that I made. I just put them into these scarce Series 1 moments of guys that I think have big upside in the future.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. And that's kind of what I'm speculating on with a lot of these rookies. Like when I get these cards, moments, out of the packs, like I don't want an Aaron Gordon Series 2 35 plus mint. I don't even like Aaron Gordon in DFS, much less collectibles. So I'm trying to get rid of him. I think I priced him at like $15. That's probably not going to move it. I may price it at $1 and just get it out of my collection. The only reason why maybe you keep something like that is if you need it for a challenge, like if you want to buy a Durant or something. So maybe that's why you keep it. But, I've been buying a lot of these, 15K mint moments now. As soon as I saw the 35,000 plus mints come out, I started buying a lot more 15K mints because now they're more valuable. And you know what I'm saying? The prices were kind of going down a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been doing. We're going to close it out with mail day. I talked about the fact that, what I've been investing in. And if you pull it up, man, it's going to be a Series 2 Tyrese Halliburton rookie moment. And I think I got it like a 16K version of it. I didn't care. I think I got it for, I don't know, $20, $19. It was really cheap for a guy that I think is going to be a staple in this rookie season. It's going to be his rookie card. I think he's going to be a really good player. He may be a guy that has to leave Sacramento, but that won't matter. Like at that point, the value's already baked in. So that's where I'm at. Michael J., how about you? What is your mail day, sir?
So my mail day was actually a card, and it was a RJ Barrett rookie Prism PSA 10. I picked it up $130, and I was looking at that, and I'm like, man, the Knicks, the 4th, 5th seed, looking like a lock for the playoffs. That card is just too cheap to me. I think, if he has some impact in some meaningful games down the line, that RJ Barrett is a good buy right now.
Well, look, if you want some RJ Barrett, I got plenty. I bought so much RJ Barrett over the summer. I've sold a good bit of it. I have, but I've still got some left. I've got a Prism Silver and a Prism Green, but it's the Emergent. It's not the standard. My Prism Green is gone. Somebody's already bought that. But RJ is just a person I bought anyway. Tambo, I know you didn't have like a mail day per se, but anything special you want to talk about in your collection that you've reached recently?
I talked about those moments just a second ago. That's pretty much what I've been doing with my money. I guess the other thing, just back it up a little bit was that, I'm also speculating with some of those profits on some of these cool cats. The challenges are big on NBA Top Shot. So I've been speculating on some of the buys. They say it's going to be, cooler countries, goes with the cool factor, the cool theme of it. So a little bit of speculation buys where, again, you can just flip them. And that's the other thing you mentioned earlier, Will. If you can't sell it, it's up to you. Hang on to it if you think it's going to be worth something. But if you got to take $100 loss or a, using like a $2,000 moment or like a $5 loss on some of these speculation pieces, I'm okay, because if you do get it right, that could end up being $100 win where you're 10Xing and you've got yourself towards a challenge that could be worth a bunch of money as well. Like some of these big ones that are coming out that we had, like the Anthony Edwards challenge and things like that. So, people rush to sell these rising star moments that they had that ended up, for $200-$300 that are now selling for $500-$600 because they didn't know who Mikal Mulder was. Neither do we barely, but I'm saying that's the whole point is that's why they rush to sell for $150 or $200. Find out a couple days later, it's in a challenge. And then, our guys are wondering why they got to pay $500-$600 for it to complete this challenge. It's just the way it works. It makes sense. So yeah, you got to watch what you're doing with that stuff, but that's why I won't be, selling off too much at a loss. But if you have to take a little bit, or if you want to speculate, I certainly think that's okay. So that's sort of the other thing I've been buying and I'm doing. Lastly, in cardboard, just to be talked about a little bit, I like the RJ Barrett call, but Will had me on that one a long time ago, and I did sell some high. I like hanging on to it, though. I'm Canadian. He's got the Canadian blood in him. I like this guy quite a bit, actually, and I always did like him coming out of college, I should call it, in the States. And so, for me, there's that, but also Trey Young. Trey Young still feels a little bit too
Man.
cheap for me. A guy, again, we know fantasy performances, they are sitting sort of on that bubble, but as they get healthier, as things can start to go their way, it is the Eastern Conference. It's pretty wide open until, way late in the season where lots can happen, and he could put up 40-point games, 50-point games, and we know fantasy can start selling it. But I just think it's an opportunity if you still want to buy in, like guys like him, John Morant, where they missed the All-Star game, it was almost like an extra bump down in their prices that you can go just pick some of that up. If you believe, like John Morant was the rookie of the year, and you talked about guys moving around. What if they use him as a moving block in the future and he ends up on a great team in a great spot, or who knows, right? Right now, he doesn't get a lot of love in the national TV schedule, which affects some values and things like that versus a guy like Zion. But Zion's expensive. John Morant is not. Trey Young is not. RJ Barrett is not. So lots of guys you can still invest in, I think, where you're not too late and there's still plenty of opportunity.
Look, man, this is something I could not have conjured up for this show, closing it out with some Trey Young talk. But listen, I have been investing in raw Trey Young, as you can see. Got it right. This is a Hyper Prism, one of his rookies from the Panini National VIP scene. That's something I've been investing in hard too, Tam. I know we talked about it a lot, I think a couple months ago. I'm still buying Panini National VIP because some of these Prisms are rookie cards, and they're a lot cheaper than their regular Prism. And I just think getting in on some of these are really, really good. Anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us at the Castle. This was Card Stock After Lock, sponsored by our good friends at sportscardinvestor.com. Our good buddy, Jeff Wilson. Thank you so much, Jeff, for a good sponsor of the show here. Listen, don't forget, go over to sportscardinvestor.com. Get involved in the Market Movers tool. The subscription, you can either have it monthly or yearly. Promo code Grinders. Get you 20% off of that. We're going to close it out with that. I'm Chief. That's Michael J. This is Tambo. See you next week at the Castle, 7:30 EST.